The film focuses on the drug use in Lance Armstrong's career, specifically the performance-enhancing drugs such as EPO, cortisone, testosterone patches and growth hormones. So you see him and other team members, other riders on the tour injecting these drugs, and you see this happen quite frequently. So when this happens, you do see needles entering skin, and again, this is quite frequent. So if you're a bit squeamish about needles or blood, then you might want to be aware of that. So when the needles enter the skin, it's often quite in close-up, and you see the blood spots as the needle enters the flesh. You see bags of blood, you see blood test, pinprick tests happening, and you see other tests such as oxygen tests and so on. You also see drug tests being performed by the officials as part of the sports, so you see urine tests and things like that. But the film does focus very heavily on the drug taking, as I said, specifically the performance-enhancing drug. Where it's really interesting is it does go into the science of how the drugs work. It's a near forensic description about the drugs and the effect they have on the body, especially EPO. You get the discussion about how it affects the body and how it does enhance performance in athletes. So that's quite interesting. In terms of the other medical related procedures, there's a few hospital scenes, one where a man is treated for cancer. You see x-rays and those kind of things. You see them performing surgery on the head area. So you see the medical team fitting a brace, and then you hear drilling sounds. And even though you don't actually see the drill entering the skin, you do see blood spatter to indicate that the drill has then broken skin and skull. You see the effects as well from radiation treatment on the body, so the body appearing very depleted and unwell because of the radiation treatment. You also see a cancer ward of children, so that could be a little bit upsetting. Back to the blood a little bit. There's one scene where a man vomits blood and gore, and it's quite unpleasant. Other than that, it's probably about all the kind of blood you do see. There is one scene when it's very quick, where the cyclist, Lance, passes another cyclist on the track, and he's had an accident. You don't see the accident happen, but he seems to be covered in blood. But as I said, it's a very quick shot. They don't focus on the injury detail or anything like that. There's a few other scenes where you see accidents happen, mostly at the beginning of the film. There's stock footage of peloton crashes, and you see cyclists, crashing to the ground. You see one cyclist being thrown over a crash barrier, but then it cuts away, so you don't see any effects of that or any injury detail there either. There's no sex in the film. There is a tiny bit of nudity. You do see a man nude in the shower, but you don't see any genitals. A couple of times in the scene throughout the film as well, you do see him, going in for urine tests and that sort of thing. So you see him kind of drop his pants, and you'll see the top of his bum area, but no genitals or anything like that. You see him shirtless once or twice through the film, and in other scenes you see some supporters on the tour who aren't wearing any shirts, male. You don't see any topless women. There is a little bit of swearing in the film. The F word is used a few times, as well as the S word. Not many, just a few times, once or twice. And there's one scene when a man is yelling out of anger and frustration. He's directing his anger towards a female who isn't present in the scene, and he calls her a few derogatory terms, such as bitch and whore. So the film, The Program, is directed by Stephen Frears and stars Ben Foster as Lance Armstrong, and it also stars Jesse Plemons and Chris O'Dowd. And you can read my full breakdown of The Program at cinemum.net.